Welcome to Straight Talk. My name is Jeff Cross. I'm the editorial director of ISSA Media. Today we're going to visit with Jim Pemberton. He's president of Pemberton's, a distribution company for cleaners and restorers like yourself. Jim is also a consultant. He's called on for advice and he does training as well. So many of you know him in that space in addition to being a supplier. So let's get right to it and get with Jim and see what he has to share with us today on Straight Talk. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, Jeff. Thanks for asking. You?
Good, good. So we were talking, you and I, offline about an issue that you're seeing out there with this current pandemic and the coronavirus. I imagine you're getting a lot of phone calls and questions. Maybe you could share a few of those with us.
Well, it's understandable that cleaners who talk to me are concerned about what's happening, and the calls range everywhere from how to keep themselves and their staff safe to what to do about restrictions and stay-at-home orders, and ultimately what to do about using disinfectants and responding to their customers' needs or marketing services like that. So it's that range of what I'm hearing.
I imagine a lot of our cleaners and restorers out there are struggling to figure out what to do. This is not normal cleaning. Would you agree with that?
No, it's not at all, and it's not normal times.
Yeah.
I mean, their questions are legitimate, their fears are legitimate, and what makes me feel good is most of them are people that genuinely care about themselves, their customers, and their employees.
And that's the key. If they start with that, then obviously they'll make the best decisions. But we do know that training is important and using the right products. Let's talk a little bit about something that I think we agree on 100%, and that's cross-contamination.
Yes.
You know, this current issue that we're dealing with right now, it's got to be on everyone's minds when they go from one building or one home to another. What are they taking with them when they do that, you know, with their equipment? So one picture I put up on social media, I'll just hold it up here. You can see.
I remember that one.
Yeah, I remember that. There's that wand. That's a picture I took. It was a cleaning company that came into a place I was at, so it's my picture. And it's not unique, though.
I'm afraid
I
not.
see this all the time. What do you think?
Well, there's a couple of things. One of the things that I appreciate is the first questions that I got from cleaners was, how do I keep my customers safe between jobs? And it was, what do I get that I can clean tools and wands with and hoses? That was a very fair and good question. Some people were ahead of the game on this and already cleaned their hoses and tools between jobs as they should. But from the consumer's point of view, the big change that I think is going to happen is, instead of that being ignored, if you go into someone's home or even their business and have a tool that looks like that, that tool no longer just says it's dirty. That tool says it's unsafe.
Yeah, I would agree. It's interesting because you know, you do training, I do training, and I remember one class I was at recently. We were talking amongst ourselves. There's probably about 20 of us in the classroom, and we're like, we have a couple of things to clean here. Who has a truck mount? And a few hands went up, and we go out into the parking lot and we start opening doors, and I'm like cringing. I'm like, you know, it's kind of like this picture of this wand, but it's the whole truck. Yeah. So to me, if I owned that truck, I probably wouldn't have put my hand up. So it's something that we all need to think about. And I realize that it may not be top of mind normally, but these are not normal times. So we have to think about, you know, the future. And I hope it sticks. I hope with people seeing this cross-contamination issue, that any changes they make in the short term are long-term as well.
And Jeff, it's not just the tools. It's
okay.
The people. You know, how the people look when they go in the home, how they're dressed and how they're groomed, and shoe covers. The things that are being taken for granted aren't going to be anymore.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, when you open those doors, they might look at what's in the truck, but they're watching who steps out of it as well.
They really are, yes.
Yeah, good advice. So it'll elevate the industry, I think, if we embrace that. So what about with this current issue going on today, product choices using them? Do you have some questions coming your way about that, and what are you recommending?
Well, there's a lot of questions. I recommend at this point the products that are on the EPA N list, and those are ones that, of course, can't be tested specifically for SARS-CoV-2, but are tested to say should be equivalent to but cleaners have to make choices based on the labels too, because if the label says to wear personal protection equipment that they don't have, then maybe that's not the best choice for them to use. And that's a strong concern I have, because it's natural to want to do something. It's natural to want to have a product that can help their customer or help their business. But right now, the products are hard enough to get, but what's even harder to get is the personal protective equipment. And if you can't protect yourself, you probably shouldn't use the product.
Good information. Appreciate you sharing that. Here's another question. We're going to do several with you today. So talk to us about disinfecting and sanitizing. I'm seeing a lot of advertisements out there. Cleaners say, we are disinfecting and we are sanitizing your carpet or your upholstery or hard surfaces. Is there a caution there we should consider when we say those things?
I think so. First of all, I like going back to the label. You know, I've heard the term used a lot in some of the interviews. The label is the law. And with EPA registered products, that's a good place to start. And there is nothing that disinfects a soft surface. So whether you're applying a disinfectant to upholstery, rugs, or carpet, you're not disinfecting it. These labels, if the product is labeled to be used on a soft surface, which not all products are, but if there's directions on the label for soft surface application, they're labeled as sanitizing, not or as sanitizers. I like to err on the side of being conservative. I would probably avoid even saying I'm disinfecting something, but instead I'm applying a disinfectant to a hard surface and applying a sanitizer to a soft surface.
So I agree, because that's what you're doing. You are applying a product to the surface, and that has a benefit to whoever you're working for. But
that's correct.
You're careful about your terminology. So right now, a lot of cleaners are struggling. You know, they might not have any work. They get a call, a job comes in. What would you say to them taking whatever comes by? Should they be careful about the jobs they take?
I believe so. I mean, to start with, it's easy to stand back at a distance and say there's things you should or shouldn't do. It's hard when you have bills to pay and people to feed. But a couple ways to look at it would be this. One is the cleaners that I talk to and that you talk to, Jeff, take great pride in doing things right. And the same people who would not think of it as an example, taking an area rug and not doing it in plant to do it properly, at the same time should take the same approach if they're going to be applying disinfectants. If they really can't do it right, should they be doing it? The same cleaners that, again, attend classes and want to do things as best they can in textile cleaning, they need to ask, are they trained and really capable of handling disinfectants safely for them, for their people, and for their customers? So it's a matter of training. It's a matter of confidence that they're delivering to their customer the right thing. And there's a variety of experience that people have. People who are working in trauma scene cleanup are very experienced in personal protective equipment, very experienced in working safely with disinfecting products. Mold remediators are very experienced in this. Some cleaners may be, some may not be. But these are hard questions to ask yourself. I guess what heartens me are the amount of cleaners that are taking this time where they are not doing all the services that they used to. They're limited perhaps just to commercial work or empty places. They're using the available time to do work for the community.
Yes.
They're using their available time to help those in need of having food delivered, or they're doing cleaning services at playgrounds or places like that as a community contribution. So the way we use our time is really up to us.
Good advice. Yeah, I know that right now is the time to think about not just what's going on right now, but the future as well, and be prepared for that.
Exactly.
So Jim, I think we both hope that we're going to see less of this moving forward, right?
Yes, we certainly do.
Well, Jim, thank you for joining us today.
Well, it was my pleasure, Jeff. Thanks for inviting me to share some thoughts.
I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.